on, y'all? It's your boy J.H. Gibbons here.
We'll see.
And welcome to another episode of the Achromous Podcast, episode 116. That's unbelievable. 116 episodes. And we are here once again for you. If you're listening, it means that you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you can hear a podcast. If you're watching us, it means one thing and one thing only. You are looking at us on YouTube. And before you do anything else, I need you to do three important things for me. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Guess what happens, guys? The next time that you hop on YouTube and you're scrolling through your feed, you refresh that page on your cell phone using that thumb of yours. One of the very first videos that you will see is this exact episode of the Achromous Podcast. And it's an episode you do not want to miss. And most of all, we'll see.
It's free to do each and every single one of those things Jay just mentioned. Why wouldn't you want to do that? I mean, take advantage of what's free out here, right? Get some gems dropped into your lap, on this beautiful Sunday. Just happen to scroll by, and guess what? This chose you. So take advantage of it, man. Like our content, subscribe to it, turn on that notification bell. And I'm gonna actually add on two things this time, Jay. Two things. Wow. Not usually I'll add on one. Like I ask you guys to share, but also want to make sure that you are engaged into what you're listening to and let us know your thoughts too. Can you drop a comment too? Like show us some appreciation, show us what your thoughts are, what you're hearing, what you're feeling, what you like, what you want to add on to. This is an opportunity to engage. This is a part of our community. This is what we do. So if you would like, turn on your notification bell, share this content, subscribe to it, give us a comment or two, and we'll get back to you and we can pick up the conversation and keep it going.
100% we'll see. And if you guys know us, you know that we are very vocal. We're very caring for our community. We're very active in our community. If you've been in our comment section with us on YouTube or TikTok or IG, wherever, we always reply. Whenever we can, we reply. Either it's a comment or it's a video message. So just keep growing, man. Keep joining. Keep with us. We are still growing. I know you guys are too. And what a week it has been. We'll see. Reflecting back on last week's conversation with Tiara, it was an incredible, holistic conversation, man. I learned a lot about myself listening to her and her expertise and the strategy that she takes to make sure that people are starting their journey at a specific spot. They're understanding the things that have gone on in their lives. They're becoming a lot more vulnerable so that once they go through the entire session, at the very, very end, that last visit, they are whole. So it is absolutely amazing. You guys got to check on that book. Focus on Yourself. It's going to be out later on in April. Get it. Do us a favor. Let us know how it is. Contact her. Do anything to continue to grow, man. This is what we are all about. We'll see. It was a great episode.
It really was very therapeutic, and exactly is what it was. An opportunity to reflect in our own personal journey. And as Sierra said, wonderfully, the power of choice and growth is a beautiful thing once you have allowed yourself to accept yourself, accept and just know that it's safe to do so. So we thank you for it here in our audience and our community out there. I'm sure everyone was thankful to receive it. And again, if you're looking to reach out or looking for a little bit of therapy, let us know. We got you. We'll put you in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is the joy of doing this podcast, man. As you said, as we all said, it's 116 episodes that we've done now. It's been quite the journey. It's a record for us to be as consistent as we are with something like this, and for you guys to always consistently be there for us in many ways, shapes, and forms. We thank you for doing that. We thank you for subscribing, for listening, for sharing, for commenting. Any single way that you can interact with us, it doesn't matter how many of you guys there are. All we want to do is reach one person and have that person reach another. And then we continue to grow like that. So this has been an amazing journey, and the journey continues, man. It's a marathon. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep building. And here we are in yet another episode of the Achromous Podcast. And for this episode, we do have a visitor. We have a guest. This is not his first time here. It's not his second time here. In fact, it is his third. And he has so much insight to share, not just on the music industry, but even on the financial side. I know you guys still have some questions about crypto. It is a great time to ask those questions because who knows what the future holds. I believe this young man does. and he does have a single that just recently came out. He's going to talk about it. He's going to dive right into it. Doubt Me is the name of it. And I can tell you, we are not going to doubt this man. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the Achromous Podcast, Roc Kartel. Roc, the Roc is in the building. I hope I
In
don't
the
get sued by Jay-Z
building.
saying that.
What's up? What's up?
Welcome back, man.
Hey,
Welcome
it's
Back.
good to be back, man. It's always a pleasure to be on a Chrome
Absolutely.
podcast and speak to y'all guys, man. Oh,
Absolutely. Look, we are not one to start off conversations in a cheap way, like ask cheap questions or anything like that. But I gotta ask, especially because you're in California, how is the weather out there?
a beautiful day today. It's been a lot of rain since I've been living out here. Probably like the most rain I've seen since I've been living out here. But it's nothing that we ain't used to on the East.
That's
You
very
know,
true.
Yeah.
I believe since it's Cali and they not used to it, they make it a big deal. But
Mm.
we used to a little bit of. I ain't seen no snow personally, but in the mountains you get some snow. But we used to snow. I'm used to a little bit of rain.
Yeah.
Nothing major. Their winter time is a little worse than normal, so everyone's going all chaotic.
That's a true statement because
Yeah.
we'll see. I gotta say, because sometimes I'll be texting Rock, man, because I'm seeing, CNN is sometimes on the TV in the background, or I'm hearing on the radio that there's this big snowstorm, or there's a tornado, or there's this rain, or this earthquake. I'm like, Rock, bro, you good? You all right? It's like, yeah, I don't know what you talking about. Everything is everything. I don't even a tornado. What? Where's that? I didn't hear. So I'm like, damn, bro, I'm more worried about you than you are. You living in it. So that speaks to your character, man. You're fully focused on the grind. You're fully focused on the music, and that's what we want to get into right now, man. I know you had it come out, man. Doubt Me is out now. If you guys, I mean, Spotify, I know it's everywhere. You can hear a song these days. So we want to really dive in and understand the thought process behind this song. What was your inspiration to really put something out there like that, especially with that title? It's like it's sort of a, I don't want to say a middle finger to the world, but it's more of a, hey, it doesn't matter what you say about me. I'm coming. I'm here. This is what I do. I'm used to this. I run this. So let us know about the inspiration behind this song, man.
Yeah, a little bit of what you just said. But honestly, it started with the production side of it. Before I even wrote the song, before I even knew what the song was going to be about, I actually made the beat in December, and I was here in my home studio putting it together, and I played the melody, and it was just one of those things that just came out of me. And I was like, damn, like this, like I had to write a verse to it the same day.
Mm.
I didn't write the song the same day. I didn't even know what the song was gonna be. I actually wrote the verse just so I can hear how it sound on the acapella the way I had it, and then get an Instagram post some content. But I was like, God damn, like this shit sounds so good. It's like one of like, first of all, it's the best beat I ever made. But
Mm.
I think it's like, one of the best melodies that I've ever heard personally, because it's a melody that can stick with you. It kind of remind me of Halloween, Michael Myers, that dun, 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 dun. The melody to this song is that kind of melody. It's always this melody will always stick with people no matter where they hear it, how long. 20 years from the day of the release, 40 years, 20 years from now, they're gonna remember that melody. So I was inspired by that. And then when it was time to actually write the song, it was right before I went into the studio to do the vocals. And I'm just like, I spent the whole week just listening to the beat and just vibing to it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just in my head, just, rapping to the beat. And I'm like, okay, I found it. And
Mm.
then Doubt Me, boom. Once Doubt Me came, I already had the first verse ready because I wrote the first verse the day I made the beat. So I just wrote the second verse, and then that's all she wrote from there.
Mm, nice.
And the inspiration behind it, I don't know, man. It just came out like it just like you said, just hey, people doubt me, people doubt people. That's the way it goes. So you gotta show people that like it ain't over. I took a whole year, honestly, for my last big release was like last March, April. I took all that time off. I dropped something after that, but I wasn't really like seriously pushing it. And I took all that time off and I was honing in on my production craft. And I had some people thinking that I was just, you know, done with like the music side or like the branding side. And I was focused on the production side. And I'm like, I'm focused on both. Like this is a whole package now. Like I'm just expanding my game, expanding my network.
Mm.
So the people who doubted it, people who thought it was over, like, oh, he getting older, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like it's over. He better focus on producing now. Nah, I was just honing in my craft so I can make the sounds that I want to make for me.
That's dope to hear, Rock. You know, it kind of is listening to you. Maybe I don't know for those that saw Creed 3. You know, they kind of thought that you stepped away from that part of your game. You know, but you was polishing your tools, man, and kind of putting this as an exclamation to say, hey, look, I'm still here. Don't sleep on me. I'm about this. I've been about this. This is what I do. Doubt me if you want, but I'm here. You're gonna recognize me, and that's kind of the takeaway of feeling what that is. So hearing like what you put into it, I feel like it's a strong display of your passion, right? Because I think that's a part of like what we do that when you love something so much and it's a part of you and it's a craft of what you do, you could tell the difference in between like that passion and that it's thriving and coming through. So from the sounds of it, would you say that this is definitely that exclamation moment for you, like in your career?
Oh yeah, most definitely, most definitely. And I can tell by the response on the just the pre-release campaign. Most definitely, it's gonna do some damage.
That's it, right there.
Yeah, man. It already has. I took a listen to it before, even before coming on this podcast. And you're right. I love that tune. And I think God knows what the hell's going to happen with Twitter in the next couple months here with what the US is trying to do with it. But um, I think something like this, especially that sound, has a big opportunity to go viral. I mean, I want to know if you've even thought of doing something like that. Have you reached out to any influencers that may want to use that sound on some of their videos that they create in order for that to at least boost up a bit?
Yeah, that's actually a part of the plan, but that don't really kick in until like month 3.
Mm,
So like the first 2 months, I'm focused on uh running campaigns on like the platforms, Spotify, Audio Mac, Apple Music, Tidal, um, doing some other type of forms of marketing. And then by the 3rd month, once the song has built up a lot of numbers, go ahead and do some influencer campaigns. So once the influencer campaign goes into effect and people go stream the song is already doing well.
mm.
So that's actually the plan for the 3rd month for the marketing plan.
So that's awesome. That's dope. With execution, got the plan, the blueprint ready, and just capitalizing and just building on that. And I would say to further along, the trajectory what we're discussing, the time that you were able to kind of to take away and to hone in.
Guy, ain't tell me my chain was going backwards, man. This shit
Oh,
like
I ain't even
goddamn.
see it.
oh, no, I didn't even
My
know. You didn't
God.
even know. We
I
didn't
got
even know.
Had a whole
yeah,
angel sitting backwards, man.
sitting backwards. Angel can't sit backwards.
My
That just means you light years ahead, man. Like
That's all that
doesn't catch
means.
up with you.
That's all that means.
That's all that means. Oh man. But to just narrow in on what I was gonna ask. So do you have a few other projects in the works? I would imagine, you got some other things with where you got that fire lit right where you needed to be, that you maybe you got some other things brewing in the pot, probably got some other things you samples you're putting together and got some things
most
coming up.
most definitely. I mean, this is all building up to the album actually, and I want to show y'all something since we on here right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
This is
haven't
Sneak
actually. I
Creek,
mean, I
bro.
haven't, I haven't, I haven't published this, and it's not time to publish it just yet.
Okay.
But I want to show y'all real quick.
And Achromous Podcast exclusive. You see it here
Exclusive.
first. Nowhere else.
If this thing go platinum or something, it's gonna be the first. Let me show y'all this right here. So this right here is the album cover. I got it hand drawn. Let me tell you the backstory on that first.
Mm-hmm.
I got a homie out here. He does artwork, and he actually, I told him what I wanted for this album, and he made this actually like in last year, November. He finished it, so I got it laminated. And I got it well, not laminated, but I got it actually this is laminated. I got it laminated, and then I got it I got it printed so I could put on like social media, and it'll be the exact same quality. But let me show y'all right here. So this right here is hand drawn. I'm gonna actually once the album drops, I'm gonna actually frame it. I got a framing company that I'm familiar with. They could frame it for me. But my guy drew this, paid $500 for this, by the way. Shout out to my guy, Martin, man. He's super dope at what he does.
Yeah.
But he drew all of this hand drawn. I was even with him on some of the sessions when he was working on it. But this right here, the name of this project is Time Is Now Forever. And it's just showing a lot of dysfunction, in the world, in our communities. And me, I'm just right there doing my thing, but I'm also speaking on it. I'm almost acting as a reporter, but not really the reporter.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a girl back there crying. You see people in a coffee shop. What they're doing is they're filming it, but they not actually doing anything to help, whether it's calling the police or calling somebody. You got this girl over here. She ain't worried about what's going on. She just worried about taking pictures. And then obviously you got this situation right here with somebody getting ready to shoot somebody. So, and then it speaks to what we living in today. So that's the overall project right there. And that's what I'm working towards.
It's powerful.
So
yeah. Shout out to the artist that did that, man. That's a beautiful story. And it's unfortunate that it does reflect the time that we live in now. And I think for us, especially those who we're growing, we're building, we're trying to put the best out there for our communities. I think it's important that we understand that, yeah, we know that this is all going on behind us, but instead of being there, standing and taking a selfie or taking our phones out to record it, we're the ones that are speaking on it to make sure that we are trying to live in a better place for our future. So I think seeing that there, seeing you in a different color as well stands out. It speaks to say, hey, I am, even though I'm above the noise, I'm still here. And I'm trying to make this a better place through my art, which is music. So I think that's absolutely powerful. And that is a great album cover, man.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Martin, man. I gotta give Martin a shout out, man. He did a hell of a job, man. He if anybody's in LA or wherever they at and they looking for art, well, it doesn't have to be music related. He does a lot of comic drawings and all that stuff. Hit me up and I'll send y'all his information.
Yeah, for sure. It's a beautiful story displayed, and immediately when you see it, you feel how empowered of the situation it is, and just how you can relate to it and what you see in today's society. Like, it's spot on. So guys, if you do happen to see it, like, they drop some comments on that now, and if you're looking to get in touch, you get to link up, like Roc said, like, I think that is a dope, album cover. Like, just, it's different. It's different, and it feels real. It feels real, authentic, of like, consolidating the madness into one area, and you're filtering to be able to share that story to the world, to make it make sense, and that's just kind of what we're trying to do here, man. So that's really, really dope to see. Really dope to see. And you saw it here first, guys. So
I saw it first.
Podcast exclusive.
Yeah.
And the album ain't dropping until like the end of the year, so definitely saw it here first.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, we got some time left for that one, man.
Yeah.
Look, speaking of Time Is Now, man, I feel as though, I know the last time we spoke, especially when it came to crypto or Bitcoin, whatever, that whole space, I feel as though a lot of the folks that were talking about it have they've kind of been on the hush hush. And I don't know if that's because they don't really know what's going to happen, or maybe they do and they're keeping it close to the vest, or because the hype is not around it as much as it used to be right now. Some people are holding back from saying anything, but I think the time is now to invest in that so that when there is another boom that comes, you're not blindsided, right? This isn't going to be another stopgap for you where you miss an opportunity to make some life-changing money. And I really want to dive into this again, Roc, because I know you're in the space more than we are, and we always like to lean on experts in this field in order for us to learn and for our community to get a different perspective. Because what we want to do, especially with something like this, is really stay away from the hype. So I think a lot of people, especially when I hear folks putting their life savings into something like this, I don't even do that in my regular investments. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that with stock market investments, and I don't think anybody should. But when it comes to something that is volatile, as crypto is, or in that space in general, what are you hearing in the circles that you're in terms of, when that next boom is going to be, where a lot of the projects are going? I know there's talk about Web 3.0 and it is still around, but where, in terms of forecasting, where do you see all of this going in the next 5 years or so?
Well, for disclaimer, I'm not an expert, but I do have, just by studying it and keep up on it on a weekly basis, and being involved with it as far as like the community space of like artists and blockchain and Web 3.0 and crypto. As of right now, honestly, like the mainstream media, every mainstream media outlet right there is probably in panic mode. Every mainstream media is not gonna, at this moment as we speak right now, mainstream media is not the place to go to learn any information about it, because their mindset right now is, I told you so. You know what I'm saying? We told you there's going to be another, we told you it was going to go down. We told you people's going to lose money. But where was they at 3 years ago? Or where was they at 6 years ago? Where was they at 9 years ago? Every time it was a boom and it did go down. Now that it got popularized in 2021 or whenever it was, and it got to the point where everybody was, to the point where, BTC and ETH is on the CNN watch with other stock companies. It got to that point. So now obviously mainstream media has a hold on it and they're paying attention to it. So now they're in that I told you so moment. But in reality, underground, people still making money as of right now. People still investing as of right now. Like the bigger let's say if you used to go on Coinbase, or let's say if you go to crypto.com or Binance, you're gonna see you're still gonna see projects out there that probably had a plus in percentage within the last 2 days. It's gonna be green. So there's people still doing things. It might not be the coins that the mainstream media is talking about, or the projects that the mainstream media is talking about, but it haven't went anywhere. It's just out of the mainstream. It is, out of the mainstream grace right now. But that happens, every time. This time around, they got more eyes on it, so they're paying more attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
And when we look at the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank, there's people out there who want to say, "Oh, it was crypto. It was." Well, that bank made one big mistake. Like it had nothing to do with crypto. That bank made a big mistake on their long-term investments and where they was investing people's money. So, you know, um, as of right now, it's just that point of the I would say doubt for the from the public, which is a good thing for somebody who's holding or buying, because as history tells us, it's gonna go back up again, and it's gonna keep getting it's gonna keep getting more chaotic every time it goes down. But right now, yeah, this time is I told you so, type of time for the media. So I don't really pay no attention to it because, like, I mean, I see the truth every day. I could go on I could go on the exchanges and see what project is doing well. If everything was going bad, then how's projects still doing so well? They're probably not the biggest. They don't have the popular name, quote unquote. But there's a lot of projects out there that's still on their mission. They're still focused on their goal. And through the hard times of any company, they're staying focused. So it's no different than other companies going through their turmoil or industries going through their turmoil, and everything. Everything that goes down always goes back up in a sense. So
I mean,
that's where we at right now.
why do you think the media has such a visceral reaction to something like this? I mean, I guess one could say that there's always just been negativity around crypto in general. I think in society, for us, we fear what we don't know. So, in the media, we always know that they love to stroke the fear. They that's what they do. That's how they get the views. That's how they get the clicks. And it was God. It was a big firestorm when crypto started going down. And even when it was going up too, because it was just something exciting to report on. And God, during COVID, I mean, it's either COVID or that, right? There wasn't much else going on at that time. So I guess I can answer my own question and say that it was, it's just really out of fear. But even now, you're absolutely right. I think because the media is not focused on it, it does not mean that, shit still isn't happening. I mean, I remember when we were having the riots out here, especially specifically in Baltimore. Um, I remember, man, the media, there was a firestorm around that for like a day, and then they disappeared. But there was still stuff happening in Baltimore. It was still, you know what I'm saying? There were still fires that were out. People were still breaking into places. There's just a lot of chaos, so it just wasn't being covered. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means the media is not focused on that right now. So yeah, I mean, as you said, I know you're not an expert, but I could even say on the stock side, since I've been in it for a while, it's like if there if there isn't a lot of buzz around something, and at some point it's going to be bullish again, then is the time to go into it. It's the old adage, right? You buy low, you sell high. So yeah, I think the future is still that. I know at least over these past couple weeks, I mean, we've seen some of these projects that are backed by celebrities, and a lot of it, I guess there were scams. But I think in any space, that especially something that's deregulated, you're gonna have a lot of that. And I'm not a crypto stan, so I don't want to sit up here and act like I'm backing it. But I think just logically, it would make sense that it would go back up, because there's still, as you said, there's still projects that are going on. There's still people are still doing things. There are projects that are worthwhile that aren't being covered in general. So I think, for anybody out there, just do your research, right? Do your research to start off before you put money into anything. And that goes for it, goes for investing in a business, stocks, real estate, whatever. Do your research first. If the math works out, if the feeling's right, if everything is pointing towards the direction, put a little bit in, let it grow over time. And then, eventually you're going to be where you want to be. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right, especially when it comes to the media. That a lot of the buzz around it, a lot of that is just media driven. So my advice to anybody is just to do your research yourself and then make the best decision for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, especially when it was doing well. You had a lot of good coverage,
Yeah.
and doing bad, you have a lot of bad coverage. I mean, the difference from years ago to now is that it got more popularized after this last boom. So you
Yeah.
just you seeing more heat around it, and then yeah, you had some like a lot of the bad actors are starting to get weeded out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to get exposed. A lot of people who was just in it for just to make a profit, or who was scamming, they starting to get exposed. So the system in itself is not changing, but the people, bad actors are starting to get kicked out of the system.
Mm,
which is a good thing for the future.
yeah.
Mm.
I think it's a great thing for the future. I mean, I would say that there are some other things that I think in terms of early adoption, we would have to worry about. And I know Will C and I were talking about AI not too long ago,
Mm.
specifically Chat GPT. I don't know if you've been into that a little bit, Rock, but I downloaded it on my phone. I mean, it's impressive, man. I mean, I know it's still I think they can only go as far back as 2021. At least that's how far back they've been programmed. But I think, in the next 5 to 10 years, AI is going to do a number on our society. I think there are going to be people who are going to be looking for jobs. There are going to be, there are going to be a lot of people who are being hired to program this AI for an incredibly high salary. So, I mean, I don't know about you, Rock, but I think now would be the time to really start honing in on those technical skills, at least on the technology side of the space, because I think that's where we are heading. Everything is becoming automated. As you know, for my 9 to 5, I'm in construction. I mean, modular homes is a big thing now. It's starting to grow a lot more than it did before.
Mm.
Um, homes that are built off site and then shipped to the site, right? Of course, you still need land, but I mean, it cuts down on costs. It's more efficient. There's so many different things that it's leading to us understanding that the world is going to change. So, anybody out there who's listening, who is all about growth, just pay attention to where we are going, especially on the tech side of things, because tech is going to bleed into so many different industries, and it's going to have an effect on how so many businesses look at their bottom line. And they're going to make investments into technology, and that's going to leave you looking for a job. So I would say, especially with AI or GPT, a lot of things are just going to get easier to do. And I don't think humans will become obsolete, but at least we'll have some more free time. And in terms of free time, man, I know personally what we'd be doing. But for you, I know you're a busy man now, Rock, but if you had some time away from, any of the work that you might be doing outside of music, would you spend more time into music, or would you go another route? Would you do
Mm.
more investments? Would you travel more? Like what is something that you would do if time all of a sudden was given back to you?
Definitely travel. Definitely travel.
Yeah.
For sure, travel. Experiences, learn different cultures, and I mean, I could do an investment in the music, within a day, and I could be good for the month
Mm.
or whatever. But traveling, that's a minute by minute experience.
Mm,
So I'll definitely say traveling. I've been doing a few of that, some of that this year so far, and I plan on doing a lot of that this year so far. I'm going to London soon in a
that's-
couple months, and so definitely travel for sure. Travel. Man.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good to become well versed in travel. And I honestly, to be quite honest, I think it go hand in hand, especially with your craft. Like, to provide even more inspiration, maybe from different
For
areas,
sure. Oh yeah.
and who knows what other dope traps that may be coming down the line from creativity of the experience of seeing parts of the world that you haven't got the experience yet, and getting a piece of the culture, and just
Yeah, for
absorbing
sure.
that. So that is definitely exciting. I would do the same, honestly. I would travel around, man.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure. I
right
mean,
with you.
even working with different artists in those cultures, different, like just having a good time with creative people in different cultures, and learning how they even view investments. How do
Mm.
they view music? How do they, what I'm saying? Like, understand outside of the box of the U.S. of like, what's what around here.
Mm.
Mm. I wish more people thought like that, Rock, because we would have an incredible world to live in, man. But you're absolutely right. I think investing in experiences is something that I do as well. Whether it's travel, doing really cool, awesome, the skydiving, snowboarding off of mountains, just trying so many different things with the time that we have. I think that's the best way to invest your time, because time is limited. You don't know when your time is going to be up. So I think even now we should start taking some of the time for ourselves and investing into those things, right? Even if we may not have the time that we thought we had, we make time for those experiences because, as I said, you never know. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. So no, that's a pretty great answer. And yeah, if you ever need anybody out there in Europe, just let me know. We've got some connections in Europe.
Yeah, we do.
You have a Russian artist
Yeah.
that
Oh, for
we
real?
had on the
Yeah, we do.
podcast. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. We'll
yeah,
do.
yeah. Absolutely. So,
What part of Europe he in?
well,
Uh,
she's in what? I
Oh,
know
she.
she was
I
in.
just spoke to her not too long
Okay.
ago. She's in Germany right
Oh,
now.
she's in
She's
Germany.
Okay.
touring. But
Nice.
yeah, I know
Nice.
she'll always be down for a collab. So we'll introduce hook you guys up and might come up with some dope stuff. Some dope
Yeah,
stuff.
Nice. Nice. Nice for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah, yeah. That's
I
awesome.
like
That's
that.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing about all of this rock is just it's trying to allow our audiences to learn about different perspectives from musicians, from actors, directors, therapists. It doesn't matter. I think anyone who has a different path that they're going down in life, a lot of people that are listening find inspiration in what you guys do. Because they see you guys in the trenches now, right? They see you in the trench. They see you, they see the music that you're putting out there. They see the work that you're putting in, and they get inspired by it. And for us, it's our job to make that link between inspiration and action, right? That's where we come in. We want to make sure that, yes, you're seeing these people, you're seeing Roc grow, you're seeing him develop, you're seeing him become something. You also should become whatever you want to become. That is the reason why we have Roc on the podcast. So, if I want to turn it over to you, Roc. If there was just a bit of advice that you can give to anybody out there, I know each time we have you on the podcast, you give great advice, but for somebody who's looking right now that has doubt in themselves, they've probably been in music for 5 years and they're getting no views, they're getting nobody's knocking on their door, no phone calls, they're making no money from what they're doing, and they're thinking of throwing in a towel, even though they have a hell of a lot of talent. They're thinking, man, this shit ain't just for me, bro. There's just no way I can climb. Knowing that you've had to grind to get to where you are now, knowing that you had to overcome the doubt that you had in yourself to become as inspirational as you've been in these past 5-10 years, what is a piece of advice you can give to somebody who is on the brink of throwing in a towel?
Hmm. I would say understand, understand your business. I feel like once you understand your business, you understand what type of game you playing, then you gain more confidence in, everything you do. Because it's one thing for an artist to make music and make something great, but for them to just know, oh, okay, if I put this out, who's gonna hear it? But it's another thing if you make great music and then you know how to market it. So you already know in your head that people are gonna hear it.
Mm.
Whether they like it, whether they choose to run with it, that's up to them.
Mm.
But you know that you're gonna get it out to the masses, and you know that you have some type of budget. It don't have to be a huge budget. And I'm glad you asked me that question because I wanted to bring this up for anybody who was listening who might be not just in the music space, but anybody who's using some type of social media data to to understand what how people taking action on their work. And I want to show this little I want to show this chart of the pre-save campaign that I did for Doubt Me, because it's probably the most successful pre-save campaign that I ever did. And I was like, damn, like shit, like either the last projects were trash or I'm doing something different here in the marketing, like something. But
Mm.
I mean, the fact that there's anytime somebody just look at it from a consumer's perspective, because we all consumers. We could be artists and creatives and directors, but we're all consumers as well because we look at things and we like things.
Mm.
So from the consumer's perspective, anytime somebody follows, anytime somebody takes action that you prompt them to take, that's an interest right there. Like I think sometimes we overlook how important that one person is, And we look at the mass scale of, oh, why the hell I don't have 500,000 followers or 1,000 likes or 2,000 likes, or on the artist side 100,000 streams, or selling this amount of tickets. But it's like, I'm starting to learn, like, you take care of that one person, like that one person or that two people, whoever, how many amount of people choose to take action after you prompted them to take action. Like, you start to build that relationship with that one or two, because they're only following you for a reason. They're only pre-saving for a reason. They don't know you personally, but they like what you do. And I feel like that type of information is critical, on how you could develop relationships with the people who like your work and the people who like what you do. So I wanted to show this little data right here that I collected for anybody who's an artist out there, anybody who wants to learn marketing or understand marketing. Is like, this graphic right here is showing me how many people pre-saved, and I can see on what platform. And I'm actually surprised to see what the majority of the platform is. But if I show you this right now, you can see right here that Title is got 28%, 28.2. My second greatest pre-save, and mind you, I'm not having large numbers here. I'm running a $5 a day Facebook ad campaign. But the fact that I'm getting all these pre-saves is telling me that, okay, something's working. Like, if I had a bigger budget, I could throw more gas onto the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And the data in itself will show you. It depends on what, obviously you need a funnel, you need to set up a funnel, but the data will show you what exactly are people doing, where they're going, where they're coming from, and I can see what cities, what countries, and that alone would give you, any artist out there that has any doubt, having that information and having that understanding about what you're doing will continue to give you the confidence to learn about what you're doing. Because if you just, I spent a lot of years shooting in the dark, and you know, one thing about successful artists is, or successful people in general, is they tend to have a nice team around them. And some of those team members or labels or whatever may be experts in this field. But if you don't have a team around you, then first things first, when you're not doing music, is learn how to be an expert in marketing. Because if you're not doing that, then you could drop a million songs in 4 years, and it's just not gonna do a damn thing. And then that right there is what kills the artist's hopes. But in reality, everything around this world revolves around marketing. Nothing is put on our face by accident. There's always a crafted plan behind at least 95% of things that do go viral. Maybe that 5% just catch fire if it's some dumb shit, or if it's like let's say if I'm cooking a goddamn surf and turf with some beautiful looking steak and lobster, of course it's gonna do well on social media. Yeah. Everybody wants to see that. But when you're talking about content, and content that actually means something for the long term, there's always a plan and something in a way that people execute it to get it out there. And now at that point, it's up to the people to choose whether this is going to be worthy of sharing, or, but our job is to get it there, get it to the point where everybody sees it. So even if they don't like it, share it, comment, save, pre-save, play it, whatever, they saw it. And then maybe the sixth or seventh time when they do see it, maybe they may take action, because they're like, God damn, I can't stop seeing it. I can't stop hearing this song. No matter where you go, I keep hearing this damn song. Like, that's kind of the way, that's the way good marketing works. So that would be my that would be my advice, and also that's my long-term goal for to help out other artists in that way. But I want to prove to people that I could do it for myself. And so that way I can, I'll be able to do it for other people.
Totally makes sense. That's excellent thing to share with folks out there, to to not lose sight in your worth, and like you may waver in your trajectory of where you're trying to go, but if you stay focused, and something you said that I thought was excellent is like how you build the pieces along the way, right? So it's important to have a good solid team built behind you too. And as you said, a lot of the PR that you see out there for certain platforms that are really thriving, it is a lot of the work goes behind the team that's behind them. And everyone is driven to the same vision, to just win. And it isn't always easy, but what I love of how you also put it with, like, even if you don't have all the pieces in play, you fine tune yourself to learn how to have those attributes and just do what you can with what you have, to get along the way. And like you said, it's the key to just get the eyes on there. We can speak on that ourselves, as far as from the perspective of, we'll have folks who reached out to us and they've come across our content, and it isn't for everyone who's into self-development and that part of their life. They're not quite there yet, but definitely have folks who've let us know, hey, we're watching, we see you. It means that's a part of for them to be ready to work on themselves, and we'll be here when they're ready. But like you said, it's just a presentation to making sure your delivery is sound and it's what it needs to be. So when it is seen and viewed, it's there in the back of the mind. The seed has already been planted. It's only a matter of time before it starts to grow. So dope message to share. I'm sure our listeners are gonna take heed to that and really reflect on it, especially if they were ready to throw that towel in, because it wavers, man. We're human. You get frustrated, especially when you see things out there that just doesn't make sense, or you got certain artists that just like, what the hell is this? It just doesn't make sense. There's no quality to some of the substances put out there. But yeah, those are some great tips to kind of keep people driven.
Man, I lie to you now. I'd be ready to throw in the towel every month.
Yeah.
That's
That's every day for me.
that's just the way it goes. Like, but it's always that little small baby win. You know what I'm saying? Like that keeps you going. But shit, like sometimes I'd be like, man, I'd rather just go live in a cave and pull out a grill and just shit, work at a factory and just make money and then just live off grid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey, look, it's never too late for that, bro. I would that for real. Honestly, the way the world is going, we may not have a choice soon. You know what I'm saying? If AI, you know what I'm saying, artificial intelligence and technology takes over, we may be so obsolete that's the only road we have.
Right. For real.
Yeah. So I mean, that's absolutely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head when it comes to marketing. I think anybody out there who hasn't really invested on that marketing side, whether it's time or money, make that your thing. Become an expert in it, even if you have to take a course like on Udemy or something, or YouTube has so many different videos on stuff like that. I think now is the opportunity to do that. As we said earlier in this episode, time is changing, man. So a lot of you guys who may be working somewhere right now, in a few years, that job may not be there. So I think it's very important that you build on the skills that you can have and you can put in your own pocket, so that you become more valuable in society, especially where society is going. Things always change, right? We don't have a Ford factory in Detroit anymore, right? That's dead. That's never coming back. So with each generation that passes, there are going to be things that are going to become obsolete that we'll never do again. But you don't want to be on the back end of that. You want to continue to be on the front. You want to be on the cutting edge. So if you are in business for yourself now and you are still struggling, you want to put in that towel, you want to throw it in, you want to be done with all this, just make sure that you look on that marketing side of what you're doing. Look at the analytics that are there. See what works, stick to it, double down on that. And then eventually you'll get to where you need to be. Look, this all takes time. Roc's been in this for a while. We are on episode 116. Like, it takes time. Nothing is immediate. Nothing happens overnight. And if it does, it wasn't worth it. It really wasn't worth it. So put in that effort, that sweat equity, especially if you're a team of one or two. Keep grinding, keep pushing. Eventually, you will get there. Roc, we want to thank you again for joining us on the Achromous Podcast, episode 116. You guys need to go listen to Doubt Me. Get it right now. Download it. Do whatever you can with it. Share it. Send it to your friends. Put it on your own Spotify list when you're working out. I guarantee you it'll get you through that workout. Roc, how can our audience members reach you, man? How can they find you?
Man, they could get me on Instagram at roc.kartel, Kartel, rock, just R-O-C. Twitter, Roc Kartel _, Facebook, Roc Kartel Music. If they want to email me, they can email me at rockcartelmedia at gmail.com. I'm always here. I want to appreciate the people who did support me during this process of this release and all the followers that I've gained from it. I want to thank y'all. I want to thank everybody who's pre-saving. I want to thank anybody who just showed love to it in general, because it definitely means a lot, especially where I'm at right now. It definitely means a lot. So, you know, I'm gonna keep the consistency going.
And that's all we can do, Roc. We're going to keep the consistency going here as well. Thank you guys for listening. If you are listening, it means you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you can hear a podcast. If you're looking at our glorious faces, it could mean one thing and one thing only. You're watching us on YouTube. So if you did not do this at the beginning of this video, I need you to do it now. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You see, next time you hop on YouTube, you're scrolling down your feed and you need a video, you need something to take you to that next level. You need to continue to understand how you can build, how you can grow, because your time is now. And you're tired of all those doubters out there that are looking at you as somebody who's smaller than they believe that you are, but you know how big you are, you know how strong you are, you know what you have to offer to the world. This episode is going to be there, episode 116, with none other than Roc Kartel. And most of all, we'll see.
It's free to do so. You're going to make that investment into you today. And why not? You got so many gems dropped to you. Is this not a reason to understand, to not doubt yourself? You know what I'm saying? This is the time. So take advantage of it. That time is now. As Jay said, as Roc dropped so many gems with us today, do all those things. Like our content, subscribe to it, turn on that notification bell, share it, because each one teach one is our motto. And also comment below. You know, you got some dope artistry work that was out there shown to you today. You got some sneak and some glimpse of the future ahead. Comment, let's talk about it. Let's keep this conversation going. It don't just end now because you finished listening. We pick it right back up where we left off at. And you know, we definitely gonna be having Roc back on at some point. So guys, please, let's tune in. You got ways to reach out to him, got ways to reach out to us. We appreciate you and your time. And we hope that you know you matter when you walk away from today's episode.
100%. You matter. You're so damn worth it. Now, you need to take this time during this week to understand that your time is now. Do not squander the time that you have. Time is limited. It is fleeting. Life is the same way. You don't know when your time is going to be up. So do not let your time be up without actually living life. Until next Sunday, it's your boy J.H. Gibbons here.
And we'll see.